All right, welcome to week 3. If you're watching this, it's because you're in my English 10 class and you were gone one or multiple days this week. So, as a reminder, this week is a 4-day week, and next week will be as well because this Friday is a teacher workday, so you have no school, and then Monday you have no school because it is President's Day. The beginning of this week, we're going to be talking about forecasting. So, forecasting is coming up. If you have questions about this or you didn't receive your transcript, go talk to your counselor or maybe come ask me. Either way, you should have gotten it if you were in class. So, we are continuing on with our creative writing unit, and we are doing some practices or activities that are going to help us practice some of the skills that we've been talking about. So, to start off, we're going to talk about this idea of taking it bird by bird. Anne Lamott is a writer who helps other writers, and she wrote a book called Bird by Bird, and the title of it was inspired by this story where she tells the story of her brother, her younger brother, who, when they were in grade school, had a project where he had to do something about birds, probably for a science class or something. And he was getting really frustrated and very overwhelmed because the project was just really massive and he didn't really know where to start. And her dad told him, just take it bird by bird. And so I want you to look at that quote and tell me, what does he mean by that? And then how can you apply this advice to your own writing and to other things in life? The other thing that we will do, you won't necessarily do this with a partner, but you can still do it. You're going to read 11 by Sandra Cisneros. It's a short story. And when you do, you're going to underline and label 2 similes. You're going to underline and label 1 example of symbolism. And then you're going to draw a box around a part of dialogue that you think is really effective, a part that you think she did really well. And then you're going to have your opportunity to kind of practice modeling a story that you write after this one. So she wrote this story to convey the idea about how life isn't fair, especially when you're stuck in a world full of adults as a kid or as a young person. So you're going to take that idea and you're going to try to write your own 11 story. So this is the assignment. You're going to write 3 to 5 paragraphs as a very short story, and it can be fiction, it can be nonfiction, either way. You're going to answer one of these 3 dots: what it's like to be a certain age, an embarrassing life event, or just addressing the idea that life is not fair, especially when you were a kid. So you're going to do that on here. And then in class, I'm doing check-ins with people, but if you're gone, then obviously that doesn't apply. Okay. We are going to have some independent reading time in the beginning of day 2 for this week. And then we have First Chapter Friday. This week we have I Am Number 4 by Pittacus Lore. This was one of my favorite books when I was in high school. And if you would like to read the first chapter, I have it scanned, or you can watch the trailer for the movie that came out. Okay, we need to quickly review elements of storytelling. If you had me first semester, which most of you did, we talked about this like week 2, so way back in September. And if you did not have me, this might be new information to you, but these are just things that you need to remember as we go on through our creative writing unit. So number 1, character is all about, the people in the story, but more than that, we have to have characters that are flawed and they make mistakes because it's relatable to real life, whether the story is fiction or not, whether it takes place in space or Texas. We need to have characters that we can relate to, and they have to be imperfect. The other thing, you can look through this list of ideas in terms of when you're trying to understand a character, or even when you're trying to write a story yourself. Dialogue is really important, how they look on the outside, what they believe in, what they don't believe in. All of this is very important. Plot, this is the classic plot outline, plot diagram. The most important part of plot is climax, because if you don't have some sort of issue that the characters are working through, you don't really have a story. It's kind of just a day in the life. So climax is extremely important. With setting, we're going to consider big picture things and then the details. So I'll let you read through that. Style is all about certain choices that the writer makes with the writing itself, the dialogue, how long or short the sentences are, the diction, the style staying consistent or changing. this is kind of very complex. So if you have questions about it, you can ask me. But this is just a snapshot of it. Then we have tone, which is the emotions and feelings that you want your audience to have. With tone, something to keep in mind is this idea of sometimes you know things that the main characters or main character just alone doesn't know, and that would be a form of dramatic irony, and that can really make a story very interesting. Symbolism is when you take a tangible, visible object and you use it to represent something that's like philosophical, something that's more idealistic. So these are some ideas. And then we have topic versus theme. The topic is one word. Theme is when you take that and you explain what that means. And themes need to be universal, they need to be able to be applied to multiple stories. And then lastly, we have POV, point of view and perspective. Point of view focuses on the type of narrator, like who are we seeing the story from, whose eyes. Perspective is all about how that narrator, how that character is perceiving what's happening within them or within the story. So, two things that are different but work together. So, warm up prompt, you are going to pick one item from each category: genre, setting, and object, and you are going to write or plan a short story using those three items. So think about that plot diagram, and you're going to do that right here in this box. And then I want you to think if this could possibly be actually developed into a full story, because if it is, we're going to use it. So with flash fiction, this is going to be a handout that I give you. So if you are gone the day that we do this, please talk to me and I can get that taken care of for you. If you have any other questions, please let me know.